So if we talk weekend right now, obviously you're currently in Brussels in Belgium,
That's right.
which is pretty cool. So if you had a crazy week and it's full of people, you're talking to departments, different teams, different people, right? So the weekend is opposite.
Actually, no,
Yeah.
not at all. I think so. I don't know if you heard of the Myers-Briggs 16 personalities concept.
I've done
So
it before, but I can't remember.
okay, so there's this genius who came up with a personality test.
Mm,
And the idea of this test was he told people that essentially you can categorize them into 16 different types of personalities.
mhm.
And if you go to 16personalities.com, you can actually take the test and it'll give you a little evaluation at the end of it. And it'll tell you which type of personality you fit into, what are your strengths, weaknesses, etc. Right.
Nice.
So I'm a typical, according to him, I'm a typical extrovert. Uh, so a social extrovert human
Yep. Yep.
who derives a lot of energy from people
Okay.
in
Okay.
general. And his analysis on my personality is that because I also have a strong empathetic side of my personality, it does not let me easily switch off
Mm,
or completely
interesting.
shut myself away from people, their stories, their experiences, their narrative, what have you, right? So to go back to your question, my weekends are also pretty filled with people.
But obviously you enjoy it, right? So that's okay.
Oh, absolutely, do. Like I said, and I speak on that point, which is I derive my energy from people.
Mm,
However, I think with age and time, I have learned how people can also be of two kinds, in my opinion. One is
interesting.
what I call a little bit of energy drainers, who don't intentionally want to like squeeze you out, but it's just the energy that they bring to the
Mm,
table, to the equation, to the interaction. And then you have your energy enablers who actually add positivity and that fuel and sort of catalyze that energy that you already had and sort of amplify that, so
interesting.
over time I've kind of especially the people that I see often, my close circle of friends, extended family, and people here in Europe that I interact with very regularly, right? I think it's now become easy for me to put them in, sort of slug them into either of the two categories, if that
Wow.
makes
Okay.
sense.
Wow. You actually categorizing your friends, so to speak, between energy sappers and energy elevators.
That just made me sound like a terrible person, but
No, no, no. I think, I think all of us, maybe this is subconsciously sort of maybe do it. Because I think at the end of the day, right, you want to be you want to be with people who elevate you, don't you, Nantita?
absolutely. And, I completely believe in that one ideology, which is you are, at the end of the day, you are an average of the five people that you most interact with.
I
And
agree.
if you can mindfully handpick those five people as your first circle of interactions, right? I have personally felt that your um, your perspectives, your way of looking at life can substantially improve.
Interesting.
um,
Interesting. Would you say these people compliment you, or would they offer a different perspective?
Interesting, because two of my closest friends,
Mm,
in fact one of my best friends who's in the States, and she's one person I communicate the most with in a given week. Even she's somebody who is complimentary, but at the same time she's also my go-to person to give me a completely flip on the perspective. So she's also
nice.
somebody also challenges my thinking and makes me realize like, okay, so this is not an angle I considered, you know. And
Yeah,
she
you need that,
is
eh?
so intelligent. She is so smart, and her name is Archana. She's so intelligent in the way she perceives things, in the way she looks at things, in the way she's able to articulate something. And that articulation for me is so valuable because oftentimes that articulation is quite different from the way I would have imagined it, you know. um
Interesting.
and yes, yes,
Wow. I remember reading somewhere where I think a lot of people out there, we sort of instinctively know what we need to do, but sometimes you need a good friend or someone to just sort of, bit to remind you, just poke you a bit, right? To poke you in the right direction. Um, would you say that yourself and Akshana have very similar values, but a very different perspective, and that's why you guys are best friends? Would you say
I
something
think
like that?
so. I
Yeah.
think so. I think it's extremely important. And I think this is irrespective of the nature of the relationship, even, right?
Mm,
It could be platonic or romantic. I think the intersection of your value system is extremely important
it
for the
is.
longevity of the equation itself.
It is a. It is a. I was sort of thinking about my sort of friends, and you're right. You really got to have that sort of core value that really binds you together. I'm a big fan of that. Maybe 5 to 10 people, so to speak, but we all think very differently, and that's what I love about it. I don't want to say dislike, but I suppose I have friends who do offer something different, but fundamentally we're the same in terms of
Well
that.
said.
Yeah, but you know how sometimes you said, as the years go by, you sort of realize certain things. And for me, right, I realize when you get older, so to speak, or let me put it another friend nicer way, as the years go by, um, finding friends who align in value, it takes time.
It does. I think adult friendships are highly understated, and
Mm,
especially in terms of the amount of effort, in terms of the amount of time investment that they demand. Um,
it's
I
true.
do think, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you
And
find? Oh, sorry,
mhm.
sorry, Nanti, as you were.
No, I think also I can speak for myself here. Some of my closest friends, like Archana, for instance, I've known her for over a decade now.
Wow,
We met back in university, and yes, we lost touch in between for a while, for a couple of years, but we reconciled and we found each other. And the fact remains that today we're the best of friends for reasons that I just stated. So
brilliant. 10 years. Wow, it's a long time, eh? And I think
it is.
I think the beauty of a relationship is that even if it's 5, 10, 15, 20, you will come back.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it takes effort.
A
It,
lot.
it is friendship a two-way street?
Always. I
It is
mean,
a.
always. I mean, um, in I recently read this book, and I have to say this, and that kind of got me thinking. I think as people, we are conditioned to believe in the idea of permanence, right?
Hmm,
But I think permanence itself as a concept is a bit unambitious in some
interesting.
ways.
I have. Ooh, enlighten me. Permanence. Wow, permanence and friendships.
You know,
Okay, that's new to me.
I and I say this because not because I don't believe in permanent things or permanent relationships or permanent friendships, but once you slide into the idea of this will remain, this will stay, and this will be forever, I think that concept for me has started to feel a little unambitious. I think,
Interesting.
and
How so?
that's how we easily slide into getting comfortable and cozy and a bit complacent about continuing to work on those relationships and those friendships and people who really, really, really matter to us.
Got it. So are you saying that as a society and as friendships, if we believe if something is permanent, we're less likely to cherish it because we believe it's going to go on forever? Therefore, we don't need to put any effort into it.
Thanks for explaining that.
Sorry, is that right? Or
Yeah, I mean, that's how I'm starting to feel now. I'll be honest, Jeff. I
yeah.
think no friendship in my life has come easy. And like I said, in my opinion, every damn friendship that I have today that I value beyond anything, and these friends who are like almost like family to me today, have happened over a period of time with persistent, continued effort on both ends. And
It does.
because we have continued to make that initiative to stay in each other's lives, to be an integral part of wherever we might be at a different point in life and different point in time, we've made that effort. And for me, that compounded effort is what results in something like this.
Into something special, really, isn't it?
Special.
I think that's brilliant. That's beautiful. You got me thinking. Life is transient, isn't it?
It is. And who better to know that than me? I mean, a few years ago when I lost my dad, I felt like life really flipped me over.
It
It
would be.
was it was it was such a life transforming event for me, that I still struggle to sometimes explain in words. It
Sometimes you don't need words, isn't it?
I guess, especially if that person was perhaps the most important element in your life, right?
Yeah, I think sometimes I think as a society, as people, we try to sorry, Nantita. I think we try to rationalize things. We try to go, you know what? It's because of A, B, C, one, two, three. It must happen like that. But sometimes
Yeah.
things can't be explained, can they? And
Yeah.
you speak to a lot of people and you go, I can't find a word to describe this. And I said, you know what? It's okay. You don't need to. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that allows people to sort of just lift beyond the feeling, but in a positive way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and just on friendships, like just as a side note, guys, I'm very thankful that Nantita is currently, I'm looking at Nantita right now. I think we met probably, was it 2018, 2017, I believe?
2018 in Sydney.
Yeah, 2018. So Nantita was probably in Australia for maybe 2-3 weeks, I believe, or
I was there for a couple of months,
a couple of months,
actually.
was it? Or
Right.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
you traveled a bit. Yeah, got it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think I'm thankful. I'm very thankful that, in that sort of window, we were able to have a bit of a yarn, bit of a laugh. I know people are going to have that consistency where I like having a laugh because you really got to have a
Yeah.
laugh. um, and what was interesting, Nantita, is that I've got to say thank you for responding to me, for being so open to coming onto this sort of podcast. It's a privilege, Nantita, and it's lovely
No,
to see you.
I'm so glad. No, you and I have been friends from the moment we met each other. And it's so nice. And when we were chatting on LinkedIn also the other day, right? Like I
Yeah.
said, it was so kind of you to think of me, but I've always really liked you as a person, and the energy that you bring. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you chose
Just
to
remember,
say
guys,
that.
Nantita hasn't paid me. She's just saying this out of her heart. Yeah, just right. Yeah. Or
Yeah, disclaimer.
disclaimer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm glad we stayed in touch, Jeff.